money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
This was obviously topic A yesterday. President Biden there defending his decision to reverse course on the border wall. Administration will build 20 miles of additional barrier in the Rio Grande Valley, and the mayor of that town of Rio Grande City is Joel Villarreal, and he's with me now. Mayor, good morning to you, and thank you for your time. I just want our viewers to understand your city has 14,000 who live there, but you're in Starr County. I've got a population of about 66,000, and that's where this temporary wall is going to go up there. I'm told it's temporary because it can move. How bad is it if they have to make this decision, and how many migrants are coming into your area, sir?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on, and happy Friday, America. I'm going to call it for what it is. President Biden lied to the American people because if memory serves me well, he was not going to build another foot of border wall. And yet here we are. For political expediency, President Biden is building the border wall. Now, again, President Biden is building the border wall. Now, he should have never taken the position against the border wall because according to CBP, there are sections along the 2,000-mile southern border where the wall is beneficial. And in fact, keep this in mind. Border communities are in favor of securing the border. The question is simply how. What is that right mixture of personnel, infrastructure, and technology? But according to this, I mean, when you're looking at a 180-degree turn by President Biden, it begs the question, why the charade? Why sue Governor Abbott for building a barrier when President Biden is doing the same thing? Talk about hypocrisy at its finest. But the answer, no, it's not going to help as far as the influx, because these influxes, people are turning themselves in by the thousand. So is it going to help as far as what the influx is? The answer is no. When we have influxes, really the only thing that works is one, expedited removals, and two, remain in Mexico. Now, remain in Mexico is not a permanent solution to our broken immigration system, but during the influxes, we need to make sure that we exercise caution against our global enemies, exploiting our broken immigration system to inflict pain on America. So we must, because when our migrant processing capabilities are compromised, it does jeopardize national security. And we must take a hold of that. Now, again, unfortunately, we cannot bridge the political divide relative to immigration and border security, which are two concepts that can't coexist. They're not mutually exclusive. But here we are again. We continue on the same trajectory, and we're going to continue on the same trajectory, and we'll be having the same conversation 10 years from today.
Hope not. Hope not. Mayor, let me jump in here. You're a Democrat. And you just called President Biden out by name. But yet the mayor of New York does not call him out by name. Neither does the governor or the mayor of Chicago. They talk about the administration and sometimes the White House, I do believe, but not the president by name. Why would they do that when you right now are saying that the president has not told the American people the truth?
Hey, we got to call it for what it is, whether it's a Republican issue, whether it's a Democrat issue. At the end of the day, we're Americans. This is an American issue. It's not Democratic. I mean, it's not Democrat. It's not Republican. So let's call it for what it is. I've called out Governor Abbott on certain issues. I've called President Biden and others, President Trump as well. But at the end of the day, we have to address this. Unfortunately, for decades, we've been seeing the same issue play out, and we continue to play the same song and dance. And it's unfortunate, and I hate to laugh about it, but it is sad. It is a travesty that our broken immigration system is on full display for the rest of the world to bear witness that the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, lacks the political will for comprehensive immigration reform. And by the way, this is an issue with the White House, Congress. It's all convoluted. And unfortunately, we don't bridge the political divide. And why is that the case? When you're looking at this whole concept of political gain, I mean, both parties, by the way, engage on this debate on immigration and border security, and they don't do anything about it. At the end of the day, we're continuing to have the same issues. Anyway, I can go on and on.
Listen, I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, no, I get it. On the wall, okay, Mayorkas, the president, Kamala Harris, they all say the wall's not effective. Now, I've been down there, and I know that migrants and cartels can build temporary ladders and scale that wall. I know that, at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can They can bore a hole in that steel, and for a time anyway, they can get drugs or people through until that portion of the wall is fortified yet again. So here is my point on this. It may not be 100% foolproof, but at a minimum, it slows down the flow. Do you agree with that?
There are sections along the 2,000-mile southern border where the wall is appropriate, where it is beneficial. Not the 2,000 miles of seamless wall. No, it's just at the cost. For example, the 20 miles here in Stark County, you're looking at a cost of about $500 million. Now, what can we do with that money? Hey, especially down here in Stark County, we can do a lot without those kind of monies. But again, is it going to be effective for these influxes? The answer is no. And by the way, sometimes these miles are a mile into the U.S. It's not even close to the river.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I could, let me just try one more question here. You live this every day, and we all know it's a problem, right? And now it's in the heartland when you look at cities like Chicago. And I understand your plea, but you have an administration that sued the state of Texas to get the barriers out of the Rio Grande River. You've got an administration that sued the state of Arizona to try and get these shipping containers removed from the border. So you see what the states are trying to do. They're trying to slow the flow. Why would this administration allow this to get so out of hand?
I have no clue, because that's not the way we should be handling immigration and border security, which, again, they can coexist. Because we do need both. We do need immigration, of course, legal immigration. But then there's all kinds of issues with that, too, as far as our legal immigration system.
It's got to be part of this whole. It's got to be part of this whole open borders policy on behalf of the progressive left. There's no other reason. Sorry, there is no better way to understand it unless you think that way, right?
Hey, we should not. Catch and release does not help the United States of America. In fact, it does, unfortunately, put us in a position where it jeopardizes our national security. By all means, we cannot stress that enough. And that's something that we need to do and take care of more effectively, because we are putting America in harm's way. There's no doubt about that. Now, why we continue to do this, again, this broken immigration system, again, it's at all levels, the president, Congress, and you go down the list. But we're continuing to fall into the same trajectory. And I guarantee you, 10 years from today, we're going to be having the same conversation, because neither party, they're both refusing to address this at a global scale.
Mayor, thank you.
And by the way, by the way, I just want to say this. I serve in a non-affiliated capacity here as mayor.
Fair enough. Joel Villarreal, good luck, Mayor. We'll keep in contact with you and the 14,000 people you govern. Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.